What's going on, Islander fans and hockey fans all around the world here? Break out your crystal ball, break out the pendulums, break out your magic 8 ball because I know you had them too. And don't forget to bring your tea leaves because we are doing prediction night here on Isles Talk. This is the one show that I know Gary absolutely hates with a passion, and which is why I'm so glad he's here to suffer with me on this show. Speaking of suffering, we knew he wasn't coming, although you have a better chance of winning the Powerball tonight than Joe actually showing up here. So, Joe, we know Joe's at work. We don't know how the back is at this point, but I just enjoy putting up this picture of him every time he's not here. And I know I'll get yelled at some point, but I don't care. Uh,
Attaboy.
everyone in the chat room, welcome, boys. Welcome, everyone who's about to show up. And this is prediction night on Isles Talk. But before we do that, we're going to cover all 4 divisions. We're going to cover the conference, and I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into everyone's little. I'm going to add drama. So one time I actually do it. It's the only time I should do it. Until I eliminate your team by the day once the season gets started. Yeah, and I will be doing that. So, but before we ruffle everybody's feathers, let's just get down to some Islander news real quick. Ross Johnston is claimed by the Anaheim Ducks. And listen, I had said this before. The Ducks to me are a very good young team. I think Trevor Zegers probably needs a little more protection, especially with some of their players getting concussed. And I think Ross Johnston is a perfect fit for Anaheim down there. But listen, Gary, if John Tavares does not leave, Lou Lamoriello does not come in, forget Barry Trotz. If Lou Lamoriello does not come in, Ross Johnston's playing a lot more games than 134 because Lou brings in Matt Martin.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing that for all the years that he was here and basically dumped to the practice squad, if you will. Every time you heard anything, any quote on him or anytime he was talking, he was very, very positive. Loved the guys. It's sad you see a guy like that go, but for him, the player, it gives him an absolutely great opportunity to get some work. He will be in the lineup every day, protecting those kids. And it's like you said, it's a great young kids lineup, and you really hope he'll get his chance because as soon as Matty came in, it was lights out.
So, and again, we're gonna wish Ross all the best, but again, I think that's the best fit for him. I'm honestly surprised he was claimed, but again, I didn't think there was going to be a role for him in Bridgeport because there's a couple of guys down in Bridgeport who can protect, the Maggios of the of Bridgeport down there. So good on him. And again, Brent Thompson's there.
Greg Cronin.
Greg Cronin is there. So there's enough familiarity for Ross to succeed down there. So moving on to the next question. This is more like a water cooler talk subject, but we're going to have this anyway. Simon Holmstrom on the first line. For those of you who have followed this show now for years, you know me and my prospects. If I can keep the prospects down longer until they're over ready, I'm all for it. However, I'm okay in terms of development. I'm okay with Simon Holmstrom playing on the first line to see if he can produce some points, and it would actually force him to shoot the puck on a line with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal. I'm intrigued by the idea. I'm happier now that he's down in Bridgeport, but again, for me, I would rather see Holmstrom dominate the American Hockey League. But again, Gary, in terms of development, because this kid's still 22 years old. This kid, for me, has it solid this year, next year of development. He gets to play with probably the best center he's ever had in his career.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with that. Give me your thoughts on the idea, at least the idea of Simon Holmstrom playing on the first line with Bo Horvat.
I'm having a tough time swallowing that, if you will. Um, I like I like his maturation process. It's
Sure.
building, but I think that's asking just a wee bit too much.
Okay.
I would sincerely think at this point, although it's working well, I would like to see Engvall there for now. At
Okay.
this point in time, I think for
Okay.
now, add a little more speed to, I mean, Barzal is ridiculous, and Engvall is deceptive. His speed is deceptive. So I think really, I would like to see that. Maybe stick him at line 2 if you want to do that. I just don't. I just don't think it's a first line decision.
Yeah. And I'm going to respectfully disagree with Mark. He does have the skill. The problem is Bridgeport's been holding that leash on him because he's had to work on other parts of his game. That's always been part of the American Hockey League. They have you work on specific stuff all the time, which is why you see a lot of their goal numbers down. Um, for me, Simon Holmstrom needs to put up at least 50 points in
If
Bridgeport. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying. I think if the situation is that he is down there, I think the fact that there's a new coach there might also be a help. It may give him a little bit more incentive. I mean, I know they may preach the same philosophy,
Sure.
but maybe the change of scenery down there, putting
Could
him in a
be.
number one line might help.
Could
So if
be.
he doesn't get that spot that he should be, maybe, maybe being on a number one line in a whole new, even though it's the same system, it's a whole new philosophy, it's a whole new set of management there, and that might help.
Oh, yeah. And got, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. Yeah. Maybe I did not say this correctly enough. Believe me, guys, I would rather have Holmstrom down in the minors for the entire season, regardless of whether or not he's doing well or not. That's irregardless. Um, I'm not worried about his numbers at all. From a development standpoint, though, playing with Bo Horvat, even for 10 to 15 games, is not a bad idea. Um, you know, I the question is, can Simon Holmstrom put up 50 points on the first line? At this point, I don't think so, but you're not going to have a better chance of that than you have with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal on your line.
Mhm.
The problem I think we all have at this point is that Holmstrom has that reluctance to shoot the puck. And then I don't know if you really want to stick Bo Horvat with two players on either side who do have a tendency to hesitate on their shot.
Mhm.
So, again, I like the idea, even if it was short term for Simon Holmstrom. But again, I like Gauthier on that first line. Him or Engvall on that first line. I would like to see if there's any kind of chemistry between those first three. We already know there's chemistry between Enval, Nelson, and Palmieri. To see if there's
I
any
know
kind of chemistry.
that right, but that's what I was saying. I like that second line structure. It's
Yeah,
very good. But if you're going to have Simon here, I don't think you put too many times in Islander history, and we all know our history. When you put a kid up at the first line that's not 100% ready. And by the way, Montreal just went up 2-0 on Toronto. Um,
yes,
um, you don't want to put that much undue pressure. We've all seen it happen. I can go
absolutely.
back to Dave Chazowski for Christ's sake. Yeah,
Wow, there's a name.
exactly. Well, that tells you
Yeah,
my age. That spots it right there.
right.
Okay, but I just don't think you really, you want this kid to succeed, but maybe just a notch down, let him build it, and if he's
Sure,
progressing well, then lift him
sure.
up.
Yeah, yeah. So, again, ideally, I would love for him to stay in Bridgeport for the entire season. Put him on that first line in Bridgeport.
Hold on a second, Paul.
Yep, go ahead. And they go nuts. So
No.
there we go. Okay, I muted him. We're good. So
Sorry about that.
oh, there we go. Yep. So all right, decent little discussion. I mean, maybe at the end of the season if nothing's working, because I look, you've got Gauthier, you've got Enval, you even have Anders Lee. You can put him up there if you really wanted to, and then you could put Simon Holmstrom on the third line later on. For the benefit of his development, I don't mind him being on that first line, even if it's for like 10 games, just to see what this kid can do. So I'm not against that idea. It would certainly be a big boost considering the fact that he lost quite a few games to COVID during those wretched 2 seasons down in Bridgeport, where he only played like 60 games over 2 years. That's not enough. So, got to give him a little more leeway. But having said that, we're down to one more question. Where does Oliver Wahlstrom fit? And if you guys are still thinking about this question, then you have not been watching the show. I've said it a couple of times now. If Oliver Wahlstrom can get me 10 goals, preferably mostly at the second half of the season, but then produces big time in the playoffs, bingo. I'm not particularly worried about his total goals at this point. I'm not worried about it. My main concern for at least the next solid 2 months is that he is completely healthy and rehabbing in the form of skating, getting up to par, allowing the game coming to him, and then showing what he can do. For me, there's absolutely no pressure on Wally right now. Islander fans should not put any pressure on him. What they should do is get him healthy for when he is ready, unleash that beast. Gary, give me your thoughts.
I'm right on. I'm right on board. I mean, everybody knows that's been watching this podcast over the last couple of years knows how we feel about Wally. And I mean, I only saw 3 of the 6 games, and I wasn't. What I saw of him didn't impress me at all. So anybody that is here saying he belongs to a first line shot, absolutely not.
No.
To me, he's playing for a show me contract. And I know it's only preseason, but he hasn't shown me a damn thing. And you can have the greatest shot in the world. You can have unbelievable pinpoint accuracy as people claim he has. But if he can't play the game the way it's supposed to be played at this level, he should not be a first liner. Period. He's got to earn it. Just like Smith Barney says in those school commercials. You got to earn it. And he hasn't earned a thing. He's, like you said, he's 100% supposedly healthy, but to me, he hasn't engaged as much as I would expect him to be. He's got to play. He's playing for an outright big contract. He's not going to get a $5 million contract that he probably wants if he's playing the way he's playing right now. He's got to show it. If he comes out guns a-blazing, great. I'm happy. I'm thrilled for him. I like the kid. I like some of his comments. I like his attitude, but he's got to show so much more. I'm disappointed he didn't come out as strong as he did in preseason. I really am. And people that don't feel that way, prove me wrong.
Yep. For me, I still think it's more of the rehabbing of the injury.
Mhm.
I just don't think he is 100% there yet. And again, I still think if he does sign a contract extension with the Islanders, I think he is the eventual replacement for Kyle Palmieri. This is going to be Wallstrom's role. If or when Kyle Palmieri ever gets injured, I think Wallstrom's going to slide right into that second line. But when it is his time, he is going to be ready. So, and again, Matthew, I'm kind of agreeing with this. Holmstrom hasn't earned it either, but Holmstrom's a hell of a lot healthier than Wallstrom at the moment. I mean, if you're going to ask Holmstrom and Wallstrom to skate up and down, Holmstrom's going to be able to do it more. That's just the bottom line. It's the knee. It's the health thing. So I don't think everyone should put a lot of pressure on Wallstrom just yet. Let the kid heal. Let him get back into the swing of things. Let him have the game come back to him. And again, that second half, getting a very healthy and effective Oliver Wallstrom, you won't need to make a trade at the trade deadline. You're getting another healthy player back. Because I don't think he's healthy at the moment. He's not injured, but I don't think he's healthy.
Yeah, I would buy that. I would buy that statement.
Yeah. All right. Let's have some fun here. It's prediction time here on Isles Talk. We are going to go first off with the Pacific Division. Gary, Oilers, Kings, Vegas Flames, Seattle, Vancouver, Ducks, and Sharks. We're looking at your West Coast and a little bit of Vegas here. 8th place, who do you have?
San Jose.
So do I. That's an easy one. I think everyone's going to pick that one. 7th place. Ducks are for me.
Yeah, I was leaning between them and Vancouver, but I'll go Anaheim because I really think there's a lot of positives in that organization. I think Verbeek's done a good job with building that team. I think they're only just going to get better. They've got a lot of cap room to work with, and I think they'll do just fine.
Yeah, no, I think they'll be good. I think that another good draft year will be very beneficial for the Ducks. I think they're going to be more entertaining to watch than the Sharks, though. That's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, 6th place, I have the Vancouver Canucks.
I do too.
Vancouver, I don't know if they're going to be that messy, but they got to take care of players who either don't fit their system or don't want to be there. And they seem to have a little bit of both going on. So that kind of drama is going to carry over during the season. And to be honest with you, I don't see Vancouver doing anything more than the top 5. And I'm going to go on a wild prediction here. I think Anthony Beauvillier racks up 60 points. 60 points for Anthony Beauvillier, just because.
I would like to see that. Again, good kid. I really would.
Yeah. All right. Oilers, Kings, Vegas Flames, Seattle. Who do you have in 5th place?
I was flipping between LA and Seattle.
Ooh.
I really don't have as much confidence in LA at this point. So
Okay.
I'm gonna stick LA in 5th.
Wow. All right. Well, let me ask you this question then. Do you have the Kings in the playoffs?
By the way, Randy's going to be real happy because it's 3-0 Montreal now.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, Randy's going to be pulling out whatever hair he has left.
All 6 of them.
Yes. So do the Kings make the playoffs then?
I'm
in
still
5th
on the
place.
fence with that. Cole Caulfield, by the way, got the goal. Nice shot.
Okay.
They could.
Okay.
I got to think about that when I look at the Central. I got to go back and think about
it. Mark. Wait a minute. Here we go. Bo scores 6. Bo struggles again. There will be a full meltdown. I know. I can't wait. I would love it. I absolutely would love to see you guys just like burn everything down on Long Island. Oh, that'd be so funny. All right. In 5th place, I do have the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, okay.
I have Seattle in 5th place right now. And I don't think it's going to be anything that Seattle does differently. I'm just going to see 1 year of a regression. Just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be anything Seattle does really that's going to have me, push them up any higher. We'll see where Seattle goes from there. I do think Seattle's going to be very, very good next year, like top of the team good. Top of the division good. Fourth place.
So we're flip flopped probably.
Okay.
I have Seattle.
Okay. I actually have the Calgary Flames in fourth. I think the Flames are going to get their acts together. I think the more signings they have, I think this is going to be a better team, a better character team than when they were last year. There is no more drama coming in. Um, you know, the Flames have a lot to prove, and there's a lot of good coming out of the Flames, especially in their minor league system. There's enough depth on in Calgary right now from all places. So yeah, you guys leave your predictions in the comment section. We'll put them up here. Um, Matthew, you're not far off. LA, Edmonton, Vegas, Seattle, Calgary, Anaheim, and San Jose. All right. Third
He's
place.
missing one though.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who are we missing? Vancouver? Yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah, you're fired,
All right.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt won't have Vancouver in here, so they won't make the playoffs anyway. So he gets a he'll get a pass. All right, third place. Who you got?
I have Calgary.
Oh, okay.
I have Calgary. I really. By the way, they took the goal away from Montreal. Somebody was offside by about 2 inches. Yeah, I expect a lot more. The Hubertos and Markstroms that had really tough years last year. I really think that Calgary is going to have a much improved season, and that's not because I'm trying to piss up to Randy by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I'm not
It's
pissing
just,
up to
I
Randy.
really think they're going to be a much improved team.
Robin has Edmonton, Vegas, Calgary, LA, Seattle, Anaheim, San Jose. Okay. Everyone's putting Calgary a little higher. That's fine. Add a little drama to this. Okay. Third place. We did that. Second place.
Vegas.
Okay. I actually have the Kings, but tell me why Vegas in second.
I just think I like that. I like their team. I think they're a different team when come playoff time. But I just think that there's going to be a little hangover, and I think the team that I picked in front of them has more on the line, if you will.
Fair enough.
I think that's again, it's nothing negative on Vegas. It's more of who I'm picking number one, which everybody should know by now, because of what's going on.
Yeah, and I didn't do this before, but I have Vegas in third, specifically for those reasons. But I think LA's young guns, their offense, I think they're going to be a little better than last year, and I think that's going to get. Again, when we're doing predictions, folks, I don't think there's going to be a major difference between second, third, and fourth place. I really don't. They may only be separated by 1 or 2 points. So everything we're talking right now, it may not even matter. They're all going to be that close. Obviously, number one, this is the easy one, Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah. Said this a month ago. This is their division to lose. I have them in the Western Conference Finals. For me, I'm going to throw this ahead of time. I think it's going to be division against division. I think everyone in the Pacific's going to play each other. I think everyone in the Central is going to be playing each other. So I've got the Oilers and Flames in the first round. I've got Kings and Vegas in the first round. I will go Oilers against the Oilers over the Flames, Vegas over the Kings, and I think I'm gonna go with the Oilers in the Western Conference Finals.
To be honest, I haven't even thought that far yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna add some drama to this as well. Central Division. Central Division. 8th place. Well, let's go through the teams. Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Winnipeg, Arizona, St. Louis, Nashville, and the Hawks. Gary, who's finishing in last?
I'm putting Chicago. Only for the fact, not for the fact that I think Central is going to be a competitive division.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's going to be, like you were saying about the wet Pacific 2, 3, and 4. I think 5 through 8 could be a difference of like 6 points.
Oh, fair enough.
I really
Okay.
do. I think they're all. I think it's going to be a highly competitive division. And why I was thinking about how LA might considerably make it is because I think it's going to be so tight there that it's going to allow LA to sneak in at 5.
Okay. Fair enough. I believe it or not, I have the Nashville Predators finishing last. I
Wow.
I really wanted to put the St. Louis Blues, and I'm still debating over that, but I'm on the show, I'm on the spot right now. I'm gonna go Nashville. And the reason why I say that is because if Nashville gets eliminated early, I can see Nashville selling off
I think Barry's going to
almost
sell.
everything at the deadline, almost everything at the deadline, everyone at the deadline, and then just starting over and building, continuing to build with the kids that they have. That's it. I don't think the Preds are going to be a bad team, but I think if you're going to get the most out of this organization, you got to draft a lot more in what they have. So I think the Preds are going to play for the lottery.
Hmm. Good luck, Barry.
Yeah, good luck, Barry. All right, 7th place. Who do you got?
I have St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Okay.
it's going to be tight, but I just there's not a lot of support up front as much anymore. They lost a lot of their power up front, and until Bennington blows the doors off, which I don't think he's going to do, I think it's going to keep them back.
Okay.
I think St. Louis messed with his head. I really do.
Okay. I am going with the Hawks in 7th, basically for everything you said. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. Connor Bedard is willing this team all year long. I think Chicago's going to ride that enthusiasm wave. And, we'll see how far it can take him. But I think that Chicago's going to do the same thing as Nashville. Um, at the point where if they can sell, they're going to sell. I don't think it's going to be a part where the teams are going to be that utterly bad. They're just building for next season. Oh, thank you. Crap. Central Division. Thank you. That helps. Okay. 6th place. I've got the St. Louis Blues. I think they have just enough experience to keep them afloat, not to bomb. The only way the St. Louis Blues hit last place is if they're decimated by injuries. If they get hit with the injury bug, they're done. That's how they get last place. I don't think they have enough tools to get past the top 4 anyway. So who do you got going for 6th?
I've got Nashville.
Oh, all right.
I have Nashville there, and I would have put them a little higher. I like having Ryan O'Reilly there. You still got UC Saros as one of the best goaltenders in the league. I think Saros is going to keep him in as long as he can.
Okay.
And that's I think they're a down the road team. I believe they've got a lot of draft capability coming up soon. So I don't think I think they're more like you said, it's more of a tooling than rebuilding.
Yeah.
But they've got some key cogs there. But I think
Yes,
they're going to fall just a bit short.
Yep. All right. I think you and I both have number 5 here. I'm going with Arizona.
Bingo.
Yeah. Folks, I'm telling you now, Isles, you've got Arizona game 2. Beware of Arizona. The Islanders couldn't beat them last year. This team frightens me. This team just scares me, Gary.
They're fast.
I don't know if they can make the playoffs, but man, they're going to ruin a few lives. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they're fast. They've got weapons. They've got some good young kids. They've drafted a ton of kids. So there's not only a pipeline. It's like the Arizona gas pipeline. It's so big.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of talent ready to come.
Yeah.
So they do a couple of good things right. Hopefully get this arena deal done. and they're set. They're set. But
All right.
I don't have numbers in front, but I really think that 4 to 8 could be like less than 10 points apart.
I
And
agree.
it's
I
it's going to
agree.
be that they're going to be the tightest division in the NHL, bar none.
Right.
Top to bottom.
All right. Fourth place. Who you got?
Winnipeg Jets.
Ooh. Okay. I have the Minnesota Wild.
Well, I was flipping between them. I was going,
Fair enough.
heads Minnesota, tails Winnipeg.
Fair enough.
Getting Scheifele and Hellebuck back is huge for this organization, and they're the pillars, and they've got both teams have equally good, good lineups around them. So
Yeah.
I think it's a flip flop toss, but I like I said, I went Winnipeg fourth, Minnesota third.
Okay. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with Minnesota. I think they're going to build for a playoff contender during the season if they can. The Jets, for me, for those of you who are watching the summer part of the NHL preview show with the Jets, you guys have already heard me say there was something intriguing with the Jets. There was a lot more positive, especially after they traded Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of good prospects, a lot of good ready players from LA. And now that you have Scheifele, you have a captain, you have Hellebuck, there's a better positive attitude going into Winnipeg right now. God forbid, if Nikolai Ehlers has a year, forget it. I think Winnipeg's in this playoffs for a good long run. All right, so that's third and fourth place. Second place, who do you have?
Dallas.
Do you really? Okay. I have
Dallas.
Colorado. Go ahead.
Again, I was flip flopping them too. Again, I'm partial to Dallas, so part of me wanted to
Oh, yes.
put them first, but I just think that even though Colorado's had their issues, I just think that I can't see them losing the division right now. I don't know what happens come playoff time, but that lineup is still so deep and so strong. I love Jason Robertson. Jason Robertson to me is one of the best in the league, and he's only getting better. And you got Joe Pavelski, who's playing like he's 24, and I think he just turned 39. He's got the fountain of youth. Defensively, they're just a little bit, I won't say shaky, but I'm not. I think that's the factor that basically made me move them down from first to second.
Okay.
I just think Colorado's defense is just better, and that's
Okay.
going to matter come the stretch run in March and April.
Yep. I have the Stars taking the division. I think the Stars are that complete. I really don't see a lot of faults, like you just said. For me, I think Colorado has to solve their backup goaltending situation at some point. I think that's going to have a little bit of deterrence there during the season. However, come playoff time, this is where I'm going to throw a wrench into everybody's little bracket system. I have the Minnesota Wild upsetting the Dallas Stars. I have Colorado taking over the Jets. And then I have Colorado taking out Minnesota. But Minnesota finally gets out of the first round. That would be my upset, and I think it's going to be Colorado and Edmonton in the Western Conference Finals.
I like the comments that Robin's been making. He calls Morrissey a well-kept secret. I think last year everybody found out that secret.
Yes.
I mean, he had an awesome year. If it wasn't for a guy like Mr. Carlson, I think he would have been a real good candidate for the Norris. I really do.
Yep.
And if you get Ehlers there, you got two unbelievably solid full two-way defensemen playing for that team, and that could be huge.
Yep.
So, like I said, if they come out, if both defensive guys come out well, look out. The Jets could really scare some people.
Yep. All right. So it is October 11th. Who cares? Colorado Avalanche, Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference Finals. Who do you have coming out of the West?
I have Edmonton coming out.
Ooh.
I have Edmonton coming out.
Okay.
I as I talked to you off air before we came on,
Yes.
my spidey senses give me the feeling that Connor McDavid will have a great season. I think Leon Draisaitl will have a better one. I think it's time the Deutschmann gets in the spotlight. Really gets the spotlight.
So too. I think so too.
That's my gut feeling. And we also talked about the fact that both goaltenders are unbelievably streaky, but one of them has to come through. One of them has to come through and be the man. And if it doesn't matter whether it's Skinner or Campbell, if one of them comes out and is solid playing 55 games and getting numbers similar to what we hope Ilya does here, then Edmonton's going to be deadly.
Yep.
Because goaltending helped them for a bit, but it killed them. So if they get that fixed, Katie bar the door.
Robin, stop being so analytical here. We don't want common sense at this point. It's October 11th. We want mystery. You know what though? There's the Islander fan in me that really doesn't want to put Edmonton back into a Stanley Cup final.
It's a long time ago. Let it go.
I know.
Let it go. Let it go. It's October 11th. Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, I've never watched Frozen either.
Somebody doesn't have great.
Well, let's put it this way: my nieces and nephews have not put me through it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Georgiev against Skinner, or Georgiev against Campbell. That's a big one. All right. I am. I think I am. I'm going to go Colorado. I'll go Colorado over Everett.
Okay.
Colorado over Edmonton. Yeah.
Okay.
I had a girl, Rob. Non-analytical pick is the Coyotes. Yes, and for good reason. The Coyotes scare me this year.
They're fun. They're going to be a fun team.
And
I never thought I would say those words. The Arizona Coyotes and a fun team in the same sense.
Yeah,
but you are now. You are now.
All right. Let's get to this hot mess that we are now calling the Atlantic Division. Oh my God. All right. Where are they? Man. All right, let's start with the easy one first. Montreal. I got them in 8th. Although it's usually a team that gets hampered by the most injuries, that's usually been the case. Yeah. For now, I'm just going to go Habs.
I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to because I think they're going to be an incredibly improved team.
Yeah, especially if they're healthy.
If they're healthy, they are a good, fast team. It reminds you, not the goal scoring, but the speed reminds you of the Canadians of the past.
Yeah.
The Canadians always beat you in a drag race.
Yeah.
But,
and I don't want to put the Habs there.
Caulfield, Suzuki, all these guys, I really like watching them. They're fun.
Yeah.
But, the goaltending's going to kill them. Again, teams where goaltending's going to save them, and there's teams where goaltending's going to kill them. And I just can't see that three-headed monster in Toronto between DeSmith, Allen, and Primo, I don't. Primo is obviously the future, but he's not ready yet. And just watching a little bit of this Toronto game, I've been flipping back and forth. He looks shaky. I mean, they got a goal on him, but he really doesn't look comfortable out there. So
No.
I think that's what's going to keep him in the 8 spot.
Okay. 7th place.
Wow.
Boy, this
I'm
is such
still
a
looking.
hot mess.
I couldn't do this one because I just couldn't figure where I wanted to put teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stick my neck out. Detroit.
Ooh.
They've got talent,
All
but
right.
it doesn't give me playoff vibes. I know they've improved, but it just doesn't do it.
Okay. Sorry, Sens fans, but I've got Ottawa. There's something with Ottawa that irks me. I got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. I just don't think Ottawa has the experience yet, and their goaltending combined only gets you to like 50 games, 55 games for the entire season. Their goaltending has to stay healthy. If they can stay healthy, like Montreal, okay, you've got something. But there's a lot of inexperience on that Ottawa team. And again, I don't think if Ottawa by the trade deadline, if they're out, I think they'd be selling some of their older veterans at some point. I think Tarasenko would absolutely get traded. He would waive his no trade clause to move to a contender, no doubt. So I don't know. Senator fans, I'm rooting for you anyway, because after the first 10 games, I have been eliminating you from the playoffs for like the last 4 years. I'm hoping you guys break that streak. I really, really do. All right, 6th place.
Ottawa.
Okay.
Again, it's a flip flop between them right now. That's why I put Ottawa there, and I kind of lean on them again. Their goal again. It's going to be another situation of their goaltending too. But if they let's put it this way, if Pinto gets signed by them, I would have put him another spot higher because I think he's due for a good year, after last year. But
Fair enough.
I'm going to leave him in 6th.
Okay. Making moves right now as we speak. What do I do? In the Metro, we have down pat, folks. This Atlantic Division is just ridiculous. I'm gonna go for now.
Give me some drama.
I'm gonna go Tampa.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Tampa. I have to see how this team plays without Vasilevsky for almost 2 months. Does this team have enough? Offensively, yes. Defensively, goaltending, I would be very, very worried. Let me do this. I mean, 2 months. Their season could be over in 2 months. And do I really do that? Am I really doing that? Am I really doing that?
I don't know. Are you really doing that?
All right, I'm gonna go 5th place. Who do you got 5th?
I have Tampa.
Okay.
Basically for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I think 2 months. If Vasilevsky was out 3 months, I would have put him lower. But 50 games is still enough time when you're the best. When you're arguably the best goaltender in the world.
True.
I think it can make a difference. Will they make the playoffs? No. I do not have them in the playoffs this year. But
Okay.
I think that's not fully enough time. I think they can recoup. But yeah, they're a
I have,
shadow.
for right now, I have the Boston Bruins in 5th. I don't know if Boston has enough offense.
Wow, you have
They've got the
Detroit high.
defense, they've got the goaltending, but can the goalies do the same thing again with an improved Atlantic division? And everyone's gunning after Boston. Doesn't matter whether they missed in that first round of playoffs or not. Boston scarred everybody last year. That there's retribution here coming.
No doubt.
I've got Boston in 5th. Who do you got?
Well, I had Tampa 5th.
Oh, that's right.
I had Boston in 4th.
Okay.
Again, same reasoning. I do not think although they're good goaltenders, I don't think Omar and them are going to have the same kind of year that they had last year. And once you get past the first couple of D, Carolina's up 2-1 on Ottawa. I don't think they're that strong. You lose the heart in Bergeron. You lose Krejci. It's just not the same.
Okay.
So Boston
4th place. Yeah, I've got Detroit in 4th.
Okay.
I'm still high on Detroit. Detroit is they are my dark horse. And for those of you who are new to the show, first off, welcome. Every year I always have a dark horse. And usually I mean about 65, 70% of the time over like the last 15 years, that dark horse has made the playoffs. I had picked Detroit before that injury to Tampa, and I'm sticking with it. The Wings have enough on offense, they have enough on defense, and Villahuso is a better goaltender than people may realize.
It's a fair
And that's
statement.
fair. Everybody has Detroit out of the playoffs, Robin, except for everyone in Detroit and maybe myself. But there's something about Detroit that I've looked at over this summer, and I just can't put them down in 7th. I just can't. No, the depth isn't there, but the talent is. There's the Wings remind me of a younger version of the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's enough talent there. May not be enough depth, but I think this would be a good step for the Wings to get into the playoffs this year. I think Eisman has to do it either this year or next year. I think they have their opportunity this coming season with everything going on in the Atlantic. Gary, give me your thoughts. Who do you got for 4th?
I had 4th. I had Boston.
Oh, Boston. That's right.
3rd.
I've got Florida.
I had Buffalo.
Okay. I've got the Panthers here, and again, I there's that Stanley Cup final hangover. You've got Ekblad and Montour injured for a solid 3 months. If the Panthers can hold on, and make the playoffs, they're going to be dangerous. I just don't know if the Panthers can hold on with what they did last season. You're asking Bob to basically carry the team again, and you've got 2 of your best defensemen out. Like, it's just, I don't know. But again, I don't think they're as bad as the Wings. I think they're better than the Wings still. I think they've got a better shot against than Boston, and again with Tampa at the most part. They are literally right there. So you've got third place Buffalo. Why?
We all saw how they improved. I mean, I always talk about goaltending and being a difference, and I think I'm betting that this Levi kid that they got is going to be like the next version of Mr. Hill in Vegas. I think he's just going to come out and be a surprise. Um, they've got a good, solid young team. They've got their guys signed up. Power just signed a $58 million deal. Darlene signed an $88 million deal. They've got a bunch of young kids that are just going to, hopefully, if things go well, are going to be there for a good long period of time.
Yep.
And I think this is, it's been 11 years since they made the playoffs. I really think this is the time that they're going to finally do it.
For those of you in the chat room, if you can phonetically pronounce, is it Levy or Levi? I have not been able to watch him play yet. I have not watched any videos yet. How do you pronounce his last name? Write that down in the comments.
I thought it was Levi.
Is it like the jeans, Levi?
Like the jeans, Levi. Yeah.
Okay, it is Levi. Just checking because again, tomato. This poor boy's his last name has been butchered quite a few times, but I want to make sure I get it right. So it is Levi. Okay, beautiful, Levi. All right, in second place, I do have the Sabres. Sabres are there for everything that Gary said. I think Levi is going to be. If Levi, I can tell you right now, if the Sabres get into second place, I think Levi will be the reason, and he is going to be a Calder finalist with Bedard. I'll throw that out there right now. I think with everything else going on in the Atlantic, I like the Sabres' chances of at least landing in second. But at some point, I want to see Levi take over the reins and make that Montreal Canadiens run with Patrick Roy or Cam Ward or Bennington, whoever you want. Get that rookie goaltender in there and see what Buffalo can do. Yeah, he is. Luukkonen, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're both good kids. They're both good. But for me, I think Levi can take them. They both can take them into a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And I hate doing this. Only because we're going to give Randy a bigger head here. I've got Toronto by default. First place.
Yeah, well, I have Florida in second. You didn't ask me about that, but
oh, I'm sorry, Florida in second. Okay.
I have Florida second, and again, it's a flip flop. Basically, we're thinking the same way, but I'm flip flopping one way or another. But yeah, reluctantly, this is. I think this is it. If they don't do anything now, then just blow the freaking thing up.
Yeah,
because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I think Toronto's going to go all the way. I just think they are the better team in the division right now. And, there's so many ways that they have, blown their feet off, and they could find another way of doing it. But, I think for the division, there's really no, and just as Robin said, they are a good regular season team, but, they still haven't shown anything playoff time. So,
no,
will that happen? Will that happen? Who knows?
All right. Finally. Metro Division. Islander fans, get ready. Gary, who's in eighth place?
Oh, I think this is a no-brainer. Columbus.
Really? You think Columbus is in eighth place?
Yes.
Ooh.
I think with this whole Babcock situation and all the things that have been going on, I just don't see it. To me, Johnny Gaudreau has not done anything to impress me.
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, they've got good kids. They've got possibilities. You lost Werenski all year last year, and he's coming back, so it's like getting a new defenseman back. But I just think the saga of this organization has gone long enough.
Right.
Kekalainen's been there too long. Any other general manager probably would have been gone 3 times by now.
That's true.
But JD must love him for some reason. I don't have any confidence in this team whatsoever. Simple
Okay.
as that.
I like that. I do have the Flyers. I have the Flyers right now in eighth. I think it's a similar situation with Nashville. I think they're going to load up on picks. I think they're just going to sell off by the trade deadline and battle for that lottery pick. So nothing against Philly. I think they're going to be a decent team, but I think if they know the writing is on the wall, they're going to be major sellers. Nothing against Philly. I think this is just part of their restructuring and rebuilding program. So,
I
moving
think the
on.
same way. I think the same way,
Yeah,
but I think Philadelphia will be a little bit better.
fair enough.
That's really what it comes down to. I mean, they
Okay.
are and I'm not saying it negatively. They are the 2 weakest teams in the division, but I think Philadelphia will do a little bit better.
Okay.
That's all it comes down to.
In seventh place, I have the Washington Capitals. They are a little younger, but their star players are all they're much older, and I think this has more. This has more to do with Alex Ovechkin catching Gretzky than I think it is the Capitals making the playoffs. And again, Capitals are in the same situation as the Flyers. I think once they know they're out of playoff contention, uh, they'll start selling off some pieces. But again, Alex Ovechkin gets injured or anybody else gets injured, Washington's dropping like a bad habit. If Washington gets hit with any kind of injuries, Washington's dropping. They could land in eighth place. So the Caps for me are just not that inspiring. Sixth place, I'll go. I got Columbus. I think Adam Fantilli is going to help him out a little bit. I think there's a little more. There's a little more to it. To this team, I like their defensive core. I'm not so sure about their goaltending, but I will take their goaltending over the Caps, and I'll take their overall team over the Flyers. Other than that, they're in my sophomore class. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're just going to land in sixth because I think Washington and the Flyers are just going to sell off earlier than Columbus. So, who do you have for sixth place, Gary?
I have Washington.
Okay.
I just think a little more veteran presence. I don't think they're going to be much better than 7 or 8, but I think they'll sit solidly in sixth. And again, if, as you said, if Ovechkin goes down, if Backstrom goes down, if one of those guys go down, yeah, then they're gonna fall like a brick.
Right. All right. Fifth place. Who do you got?
Pittsburgh.
I have Pittsburgh as well. Again, guys, the mileage on this team, the talent is there, but the mileage on this team is just too much for me to accept that they can do this over an 82 game season. I'm not saying Columbus, Washington, and the Flyers are going to be wretched, but they're not going to sell off until after the trade deadline. We're talking at least a solid 60 games. I think every team in this metro is going to be decent, and if the Penguins are going to rely strictly on their offense to get them in, I don't think it's going to work. Gary, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, their whole they held on to their big 3. They were very fortunate that Gensel came back because everybody thought he wasn't going to be playing until like late November, early December.
They just pulled the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
They just pulled the Boston Bruins again. The Bruins did us dirty like that last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But
It's like I said. Go ahead.
Carlson's going to get his points, but
Yeah.
defensively, he's not. He never was. He was decent, but he never was. What got him the Norris was his numbers, his points. It wasn't his defensive ability, and most times it usually isn't. But you hope that as a Norris Trophy winner, that you've got a solid defensive framework there, and he freelances too much.
Right.
And it's good on a team like it. It can be good on a team like Pittsburgh, but once you get past the top 6, it's a crapshoot. And what's been Pittsburgh's problem all these years has been their goaltending. Ever since they lost Fleury, their goaltending is not. You have signs of brilliance, but it's not up to par. And I think, you got. I think Nedeljkovic is the backup. I think in Pittsburgh now. I'm not too thrilled about that. He doesn't impress me at all. And Casey DeSmith didn't impress me at all either. So I think that's their Achilles heel, and that's what's going to keep. I think that's what's going to keep.
Tristan Jarry.
Jarry's the starter.
Yeah.
I'm saying DeSmith was there and now gone.
Oh yeah.
Went to Montreal, but I think the goaltending is going to be their downfall.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. All right. This is where I rattle everybody's cages. 4th place. I've got the Carolina Hurricanes in 4th place.
Whoa! Dude.
Yes. Yeah.
4th place?
Let me reiterate this. This is still Carolina's division to lose this season. It doesn't mean they have to win the division. They don't have to win the division in the regular season. Okay, I've said this now over the summer. Carolina's strength is also their weakness. Carolina's defense is god-awful old. It's older than Pittsburgh's.
It's older than dirt.
Okay, the Carolina Hurricanes have had 5 straight years of like 100-point seasons without the rug being pulled from underneath them. Okay, we've seen it happen to the Devils. Their first year, they racked up 60 some odd points. They were supposed to be like an 85-point team. The rug got pulled underneath them from injuries. We saw it with the Islanders 2 seasons ago. We haven't seen that yet from Carolina. Folks, that's 5 straight years. 5 straight years of Carolina basically, Carolina basically dominating the regular season. It changes. However, listen to my playoff format when we get all done with this. Carolina makes the playoffs, but it's going to be a different scenario. So 4th place, I've got Carolina. Go ahead. I think Carolina's in for a tougher season than most people are going to think right now.
Okay.
4th place.
I have the Rangers in 4th.
Okay.
Again, I think people here will be happy about it, but I think the 2 New York teams are going to battle it out to the last day.
I love you. Yeah.
I think as good as they played last year, I don't see the defensive side of the game as good as it was. Fox is Fox.
Great.
Trouba can be Trouba, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the rest. Miller's okay, but once you get past the 3, I'm not happy with it. I'm not that happy with it. And I think that as lethal as the Ranger power play was, they are predictable. Right. And if you could figure the prediction, if you can get the prediction, I think you can stop them. Because if that team plays in the middle of the pack in the power play, they're going to lose points. and that's why
Agreed.
I put them at fourth.
Right. Third place, I have the Rangers. I think you just said it before. I think it's going to be a battle between the Isles and the Rangers. For me, Jonathan Quick scares me to death.
Yeah.
Jonathan Quick. I mean, you're asking Jonathan Quick to play roughly 25 games because Shesterkin right now, if Shesterkin plays more than 60 games, I can't see the Rangers doing anything. And they may be forced to play Shesterkin more than 60 games. I'm looking at 65.
I'll be honest with you. I don't see Quick lasting half the year. I really don't. I mean, granted they're preseason games, but he looked horrible. He looked horrible in Vegas. He thinks he's got his 2012 body and work ability, but he doesn't. That's 11 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
You're not the same goaltender you were. There's some goaltenders that can keep their skills at 38 and 39 years of age, a la Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
He's not Marc-Andre Fleury.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't see. I see them killing, terminating him or getting rid of him at some point. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, Varley looked alarming as well, but again, I would still take Varlamov over Jonathan Quick.
There was Varley gave up a lot of soft goals in the preseason.
Yep.
But you still saw an ability to read and react. You didn't see it in Quick.
No.
Quick looked like he was driving in second gear on a Maserati. Okay. He was not getting from end to end fast at all. His skills have gone by him fast.
Yep.
And again, it's not Ranger knocking, it's honesty. To me, I just don't see it.
Yep. All right. Who do you got for third?
The Islanders.
Okay.
For the same reason, like I said, fighting with the Rangers for that spot, but I just feel, number one, I want to prove all these moronic naysayer experts wrong, because they're never right half the time anyway. But this team is different.
Yep.
And again, where I see the biggest question mark, hopefully gets better, is the power play.
Yep.
If the power play goes up by 3%, that's about what, 15, 16 goals?
15 goals. I was just going to say the same thing. 15 goals.
If they go up 3%, that's 15 goals. They are not going to be worse than last year. People think they are, but I really don't think they are. I really don't. That's why I like the acquisition of Pierre Engvall. I think he'll be great on the second unit. And those 15 points are going to be the difference what gets them in or out of the playoffs. Because you know what kind of team you got. It's the same kind of team, same kind of philosophy. You're going to have excellent goaltending and you're going to have decent defense. But if they get a little tiny bit of help, it makes that difference. And like anybody else, just get in the door. Open that door and step in, and anything happens. So I think they're going to finish in third.
Okay. What do you got in second place?
I have Carolina.
Okay.
Again, I think they're an overrated team. Okay. I think too many people put too much stock in them. There are holes in that team. We see it every playoff year. There are holes. They're a good regular season team, but when it comes down to that tight game, which they are decent defensively, teams find holes. The Rangers found the holes 2 years ago. They just don't look to me to be a Stanley Cup caliber team.
Okay.
Just the way it is.
I have the Islanders finishing in second. Pretty much for the reasons I had said before. I'm not confident with the Rangers at the moment. And again, for basically some of the stuff you just said, Gary, I, I 5 years of dominance. They haven't been able to put it together in the playoffs. They might be this year, but I if Carolina racks up those injuries, you don't have a minor league system. You're going to pay the price for that, and it's coming down to the point where we wanted to see Washington collapse. We saw it. We've been trying to see Pittsburgh collapse. We finally saw it, and we're witnessing it now. I think Carolina is going to struggle this year. And I think because of those struggles from the other teams, I think the Islanders can net, as long as they play their game, they can still rack up all the way up to second place. But again, not to say that the Islanders are going to dominate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm waiting as an NHL fan, as a fan of the Metro Division, I'm waiting to see Carolina slip. Finally. I think they're going to pull a Florida Panthers. I think once they're in the playoffs, I think it's going to be a different scenario, and I'll get to that in a minute. Obviously, this is going to be easy for the both of us here. Gary, who do you have in first?
New Jersey Devils.
Okay.
I mean, this is just an amazing story from dormant 2 years ago to dominant now.
Yeah.
They've got all the tools. You know, between the Hugheses and all those guys, they can beat you in so many ways. They can beat you in an offensive shootout. They can beat you in a speed skating fest. They can beat you in goaltending. I mean, that's their I won't say their weakest point, but it is their less powerful point. But
Right.
defensively, they're unknown and solid.
Right.
And you've got to play with smarts to beat these guys. And that's been a long time since we said those words out of the New Jersey Devils.
Right. Not only do I have New Jersey winning this division, I have New Jersey winning the President's Trophy. And here's my philosophy and reasoning why. Edmonton. I don't think Edmonton's going to go all out like they have during the regular season. I think they're going to pace themselves. The Dallas Stars are going to pace themselves. Colorado's going to pace themselves. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're going to pace themselves. These guys are going to go deep into the playoffs. They know that. Those four teams alone, they don't really need home ice advantage. You only need one win away and dominate at home. Those teams can do that. For me, I think New Jersey's going to come out with the President's Trophy. And I don't know here. I now that I'm thinking about it, I would love to see the Leafs win the President's Trophy and then have the Leafs play the Wings. I would have the Leafs beating the Wings, and then you'd have the Sabres against the Panthers. I'd have the Panthers taking over the Sabres. I'd have the Leafs taking over the Wings. But if the Devils win the President's Trophy, I think the Devils would take out the Wings, and then Carolina would take out the Leafs. Wouldn't that be something? And then Carolina against the Panthers, and the Devils against it, because I have the Isles beating the Rangers. I finally get my playoff matchup. But let's stick with the fact. All right, let's add a little drama to this. Let's say Carolina gets that last playoff wild card. Let's say they pull the Florida Panthers. They get that last wild card. They've got the Devils in the first round. I would have Carolina taking out the Devils in the first round. And I think because Carolina will be running with Kochetkov. I don't think it's going to be Anderson. I don't think it's going to be Ronta. I think they're going to run that kid Kochetkov. He's going to get hot. New Jersey won't have a clue, and Carolina would upset New Jersey. I still think the Leafs would take care of the Wings. Panthers still take care of the Sabres. Leafs and Panthers. Who would you have?
I'd have to go. It's. I hate to say it, but I'd have to go Toronto. I would have to. I'd have to. As much as it's killing me right now, I'd have to do that.
All right, so we've got. All right, so Isles and Carolina. Again, I still think it's Carolina's to lose. But if I stick to my guns, I think Carolina takes out the Islanders and the Leafs. And I think it's going to be Edmonton and Carolina.
Wow. I don't know.
If the Islanders don't do any changes, again, it's October 11th here. Let's just have some fun. You think the Isles have a shot at taking out Carolina? Part of me thinks so, depending on how injured they are. But again, if they're riding a hot goaltender, anything goes. I think this is Carolina's last year, though. No doubt. No doubt. I don't think Carolina's ever going to beat Jersey after next year. I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat Jersey next year.
No. Not a chance.
Like this is it for Carolina. So who do you got coming out of the East? I love doing this to him. He hates these shows, ladies and gentlemen. He absolutely hates it. This is why I love doing this to him. I'm only allowed to do this once a year, too. I love this.
Yeah, you bastard. Jersey.
Oh, you do. You've got Jersey beating Carolina. All right.
I got Jersey beating Carolina.
Okay.
I really, as much as it doesn't pain me to talk about New Jersey as it does to pain me about the other team in the New York area.
That's true.
So I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem when I watch them and know how good they are and can do what they can do. I mean, the sky is the limit for this team, but they can make some serious scare now.
Yeah.
If things fall again, it's October 11th. Nobody's played a game yet. Nobody's had a season-ending injury yet. Nobody's had suspensions or streaks of 15 games without a goal. We're only looking at it from the guys, what they did last year, and what we think they can do this year. And that's barring everything being perfect.
Right.
So, in a perfect world, I take Jersey.
Okay.
Because I just don't think Carolina, as you said about the goaltending situation, the defense used to be their main.
Yeah, it used to be their main thing, especially
Some of those guys are old in the tooth. Brett Burns is old in the beard.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as a positive anymore.
Right.
So they could be beaten. Yes, it's still their division to lose because they're defenders.
Yes.
And they got Dmitry Orlov back there to help, but again, I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have that squeaky feeling about it.
All right, so let's get this question out of the way. Do we have any shot in hell of winning the cup this year, even if it's only like a 5% shot? Look,
doesn't Vegas have it? Don't they have us at like a 2%?
I think Vegas has us at 2%.
Don't Vegas has us?
Yeah. I haven't looked at the odds yet. It's a 2% odds. I may go a little higher than that. It's like I said.
I think it's possible we went around, but I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see. A move like the 2021 or the 2020 season or we get all the way to semis. I just don't see it yet.
Right.
I don't see it yet. But can we scare people? Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we all knew that. We knew that those other seasons when we walked in the door in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And what style does well in the playoffs? Islander style.
Defense and goaltending. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it does.
Yeah. Mark, I'm going to answer it like this, and I'm going to answer it with Thomas here.
By the way,
with this
Carol,
comment.
yeah.
Basically says, I'm sorry, there's no way the Islanders are coming in second or third. Everything would have to go in the Islanders' favor for them to make the playoffs. That's pretty much what I'm going with. We haven't seen Carolina fail yet in a long time. That's what I'm expecting. The Rangers right now, Blake Wheeler, okay, maybe, but it's been a while since we've seen a really good Blake Wheeler. And again, if you're confident as a hockey fan, putting Jonathan Quick in games, 25 games, okay. There's not one Ranger fan that I've talked to, intelligent hockey fans, mind you. I can actually have conversation with these guys. They're not comfortable with Jonathan Quick playing 20 to 25 games.
No.
They're not.
And
They're not
and the
comfortable.
media and everybody else is putting the big hype on Lafreniere. And to me, he's got to be, I don't know how many less. Oh, Ottawa just got 2 goals in a minute and just tied the game up, Carolina.
Not bad.
I don't see, he's got to be one of the statistically one of the worst number 1 picks in a long time. I think going to New York was the worst thing for him.
Yeah.
Worst thing. Because everybody puts Montreal would have been worse, I think, but I think being a Quebecois, he would have been fine. But there was so much expectations put on him, and it was going to be a no-win. And they messed his mind up. So I just don't see anything coming out of him. Kako, they did the same thing. I don't see much coming out of him. And that's their number one and number 2 pick in the last couple of years.
Right.
Just don't see it.
Who has better offense, Devils or Buffalo?
I'm going to have to cut
Devils.
this a little bit, Paul.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fly.
Okay, bud.
Folks,
I'm almost done with this anyway. So.
Look, if you're at the games, if you're at the game Saturday night, come up to 316 in between intermissions and let's talk some puck.
Beautiful, bud. All right, enjoy that opening night.
Thanks. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think his battery was dying, folks. I think that's why you started to see some interference there. That's not necessarily on Gary, but let me answer some of these questions for you guys. This is the first year of Matt Barzal's 8-year contract. Any insight on why he has a modified no trade clause, 22 teams for the last 7 years of the contract, but not this year? Preference, I guess. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I honestly haven't even looked at the contract. I just know it's a long term. Matt wants to win. So, the Islanders are going to be here to make sure that Matt is winning every year. So that's basically the way to do it. Time to put up or shut up. Not for the Islanders. No. I think it's put up or shut up for Carolina. It's put up or shut up for the Rangers. It's put up and shut up for the Penguins. Definitely for the Leafs. I think the Islanders are just here, and I think they're going to spoil a lot of people's fantasy leagues and whatnot, and the standings by itself. Yeah, the Rangers did rush their prospects. The moment they signed Panarin, they rushed their prospects, and that's going to be their mistake moving forward. Oh yeah. If the experiment fails with 14, oh yeah. And that might actually, Robin, you may have answered that question. If that experiment doesn't work with 14, does Matt look to be traded and he gets to play center somewhere else? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Brock Nelson's not going to be the second line center forever. You can move Matt down, or excuse me, move Matt over to the first line and have Bo take over as the second line center. You can do that. So, and at some point, well, Brock could be a third line center. if it goes down that far. So, yeah, those are our predictions. Yes, I have the Islanders high. It's not homerism. Um, yeah, I keep getting yeah, it's not homerism. I just don't I'm not sold on the other teams at the moment. The only team I'm sold on at this point in the Metro are the Devils. That's it. They're the only ones I'm sold on. What's with any concern with the lack of depth at D? What are you guys talking about? There's no lack of depth. Your seventh defenseman is Samuel Bolduc. He's going to be a he's going to be a top six defenseman next season. Robin Salo can get you 10 games. Grant Hutton can get you 10 games. Dennis Chalowski can get you 10 games. They're not going to wreck you. Those players have been part of the system now for a solid 2 years. They know the system. They know what they have to do. They're going to be defensively responsible. Uh, are there any big time winners? No, but that's by design. Those players, if they come up, they'll play a role, and it'll be play a simple game. That's all you're asking them to do. Chalowski can bring the puck up, so can Robin Salo. So what are you guys looking for when you mean by lack of depth? Scoring depth from the defenseman? Maybe, but those guys are not going to be put in those roles. They're going to be there to play a simple defensive game, which they can do. And for Chalowski and Robin Salo to bring the puck up, they can do that. Yeah, Sen's game is tight and chippy. Good. That's what I want to see. So listen, yeah, the Islanders for me, do a lot of the cards have to fall into place? Yes, absolutely. Let's not get that out of the way. It, let's go here. If everything works for Carolina, I still think Carolina is in that same boat as some of these other teams. They want a Stanley Cup. I don't think they're worried about the division title. I think New Jersey's going to win that hands down, along with the President's Trophy. I Carolina does not care. If everything goes great with Carolina, I'm they're in second. They're a solid second. Let's get that out of the way. But I'm still going to go with my playoff prediction here that Kochenkov is going to be that starting goaltender for Carolina. He's going to take whoever's out there first, and if it's the Islanders or the Rangers in third place, Carolina's going to take them out. Devils and Islanders, let's have some fun. Devils probably take them out. I think the Rangers are losing in the first round either way too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything's going to run smoothly for the Canes for now. I'm just waiting for the rug to get pulled from underneath them, aka injuries. A lot of injuries. Carolina's walking on a very fine line. Um, so Gary has New Jersey going to the Stanley Cup Finals against Edmonton. I'm going to go with Edmonton too. No, I'm not. I'll go Colorado. I don't know if I'm flip flopping. It's been a long show. But out of the East, if Carolina's healthy and they pull a Florida Panthers type, I think they can go to the Cup. I think they can with the right goaltending. I think if they continue to dominate the regular season, I think you may have the same stuff going on and the same problems that you're going to see for them in the second round. But if New Jersey gets to the conference finals or beats Carolina, that's it with Carolina. Carolina absolutely has to change things up. The Islanders, for me, they don't have to change things up because they've already had that little bump. Okay, the Islanders went to two straight conference championships, uh, some okay regular seasons, but again, that's what every other team has done. That's what Florida's done recently. Okay, regular season, boom, they come out and they start winning. Carolina has yet to do that. For me, the Islanders have retooled a little bit. I'm sure they could probably improve, a little bit of offense, but they can do that during the regular season. And again, if worst comes to worst, I don't mind seeing not Oliver Wallstrom, Simon Holmstrom getting a shot. Why not? He's there. He's there. But again, for me, I'd like to see him down in Bridgeport for a full season. Oliver Wahlstrom's going to be key at some point during the season, probably in the second half. That's where I see Oliver Wahlstrom. So, yeah, no, again, be positive. Be positive with the Isles this year, folks. This is not. If you've been watching the show, you know my baseline for this team is 94 points. Is this a 94-point team? Yes. Yes. Lewis constructed this team to be at 94 points minimum. Okay. God help everybody if this power play works. If the power play works, you're moving up in the rankings. That's all there is. I think there has been some. The NHL is always very good at this when each of the reporters on every team they're building up all of these teams, and then all of a sudden, wow, they're done. And I'm just not buying into it. I can't. I've been doing this too long. I've seen these trends. I watch these trends. I do this for a living, and for me, it's just not there. Media is going to hype up some of these teams, but again, it's just to draw the TV ratings. No one's going to watch the Islanders except for Long Island. It's just the way it is. So, um, yeah, that's the show. That's the Eastern Conference preview. Who do I have winning? It'll be out in the Western Conference. If I had picked Edmonton before, I think Edmonton can win the cup. I think this is this is definitely a put up or shut up for Edmonton. If I had picked Colorado before, I think Colorado wins it. I think they'll go 2 out of 3. I don't think Carolina gets the cup. I just don't think so. Um, yeah, believe. I like this one. You know, can the Islanders get around? Sure, sure. And again, we're talking October 11th. I hate doing predictions. I love doing the here and now. Um, I have 13 teams vying for 8 playoff spots. Again, the only 2 teams, maybe 3, would be Columbus, Philly, and Montreal. That's it. Those are the only 3 teams I don't think have a legitimate shot at the moment. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Now, um, this is where we're going to go now. Next week, we're going to get into the regular season. Buffalo, Anaheim, not Anaheim, Arizona. Watch out for those first 2 games. Isles have to take both. For those of you who have watched this show before, I'm big on the first 10 games. I'm a big proponent on the first 10 games. I eliminated, I think it was 6 teams from the Western Conference last year after game 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 teams. 6 teams I eliminated after their 10th game. And guess what? All of them missed the playoffs. I only had to do it with 2 in the East last year. And they were, give me one moment, the Senators and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So it's a little tighter in the East this year. So we'll see what happens if we get to eliminate anybody in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference after game 10. I don't know if they screwed us. We need work on that power play. The players need to work together now. This is the part I am actually enjoying because they need to communicate. They need to understand their language. You've been seeing it in some of the other reports from the other media in the Islanders. The players are talking. They're looking at their body language. They're learning, how each other is at this point. This is what you want to see um, during those practices. So I'm all right with it. Are they going to show a little rust in the first period? Probably. And don't lose it if the Islanders lose the first game of the season. They do it all the time. Uh, let's see here. The Islanders in season openers are 13, 26, and 11. Don't worry about opening night. Right? Sabres have also played 2 nights before. That rust is going to be out. Don't worry about opening night. You're hoping for a win. We'll see what happens. So, yes, do I have the Islanders in the playoffs? I do. Where we go from there, we'll talk about it when that happens. But for me, I'm working in the here and now. I'm worried about the first 10 games. And we'll go over those games next week. We'll talk about that later. Any other questions, comments, concerns before I let you guys go? Don't forget to follow Isles Talk on Twitter at Isles Talk. Follow Isles Talk on Facebook. And please, 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 please hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Greatly appreciated. It helps us all out here. Thank you guys once again for showing up. Another long one. We'll try to keep it down to an hour next week. And enjoy the season, boys and girls. Enjoy this NHL season. It's finally back. It's here. Enjoy it. I will ruin other teams by game 10. So after, with all of that said, folks, have a great night. We'll see you next Wednesday, and let's go Islanders.